Hey, it's Clay Trader, and this will be a video chart on the U.S. dollar index. As you know, the dollar is an important economic indicator in terms of monitoring inflation, what's gold going to do, and so forth. Whether or not revenues for companies are going to be good or bad. If they're dependent on the dollar or if they're not, and so forth. So it's always important to monitor the U.S. dollar, even if you're not into the currency markets. It's still important to watch and keep an eye on, as it does translate and kind of help you give an idea of other economic indicators. So it is worth keeping an eye on. I wanted to do a video on it because we're approaching a pretty important level in terms of support. As you can see here, the pullback has been pretty severe over the past month and a half or so. We fell through this support level there and are now approaching another key support level, so I wanted to get that one highlighted and just kind of go over what's been going on and what we should look for in terms of support resistances and things like that. As I just mentioned, there we had a previous support at 82.63 right here. However, we came down here and, as expected, did hover around it a little bit. However, have since then fallen through there. So this support level has now turned into resistance, and this is what's going to be our short-term resistance level now. On any sort of bounce, we need to get back above this 82.60 region. Now, the important level that I was talking about is a support level, and that is right here at 80.30, 80.35, whatever you want to call it. But the important point being, we are approaching this critical support level. As you can see here, it acted as resistance. Price came up, bounced down, price came up. When it did finally break it, it back tested it right there, and then just shot up. Came down here, did fall below it, and as you can see, when it did fall below it, dropped down quite a bit. However, did spring back up, and when it did get above it, hovered around here a little bit, and then once again took off. So it is a pretty important level. Whenever the price gets down around it, big moves are made. So I'm very curious to see how this holds up when it gets down here. Now, if this does not hold, then my new price target on the US dollar is going to be right down here around 78.50 to about 77.50, so about $1 range. I think it'll come anywhere in between this region down here. But first things first, we need to see how it reacts when it gets down to this 80.30 area. Now, the other thing that's not very good for the people that want the strong dollar is this trend line here, which I'm drawing, has been broken. You can see by using this point and this point here, the price came down, broke through it, actually tried to come back up, and right here made an attempt to get back through it, but was knocked back down and has since really started to fall apart. So that's going to be another support, or excuse me, resistance level on any sort of bounce back up. Going to want to watch and see how the price reacts when it comes back up there. The other resistance level that I'm keeping my eye on is a downtrend resistance level right here, and actually I'm going to make that a little skinnier. But by using this point and this point, you can see that we are now trending down. Depending on what your strategy is and time frame, some people may consider this short term, some people may consider it medium, and some people might even consider this a longer term downtrend. But nonetheless, since about the beginning of March, the dollar has been drifting downwards, and until we can get some breaks and closes above this downtrend line, that's what the trend is going to be. And we also have that confirmed by the 50-day, which is this white line, and 20-day simple moving averages. Both are now in unison, sloping downwards, so they confirm this downtrend line as being in a downtrend. Now, looking down here at the indicators, we have the stochastic that is down in oversold territory, so there is a bounce that's possible. However, the stochastic can remain below 20 for extended periods of time, so just because it's dropped below here doesn't mean it's all of a sudden going to shoot back up. And same with the RSIs, they are dropping into oversold territory, but once again, they can remain there for longer periods of time. So the best indicator to watch is price action and how it reacts around these support levels. And we are approaching a good matchup pair down here at 80.35, 80.30, whatever you want to call this. Support resistance areas aren't exact prices, but more of zones. So once again, this was video chart on the US dollar index. I hope you learned something, and just keep your eye on these levels and let's see what happens.